accused of racism.
It wasn't meant to be racist. I can tell you that. My history's good there.
And molestation.
I don't know why she would make that up.
Hours after defending himself, a Kentucky lawmaker killed himself. Why his wife calls it a lynching as she makes a surprising move in his memory.
We'll see a sharp warm up tomorrow. Cold front moves through. That generates possibly some mix and snow showers. Timing out when to expect them in your area next.
From haunted house to real life nightmare for a 15-year-old girl.
Then he proceeds to lick her up the side of the face and stick his tongue in her ear and tell her that she tastes like vanilla.
Was a clown too creepy? The response from Field of Screams.
To me, there's a difference between touching and licking somebody.
I have to say, this is better than I expected.
I've been in television 12 years. This is my favorite day in news ever.
I think I agree.
It is a dark, damp, and dreary Oaks Day here at Churchill Downs, but it is also Cinco de Mayo, and this is the home of the biggest party in horse racing. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on this special edition of WDRB News at 4. I'm Gilbert Coursey.
And I'm Gina Galeros. We are live on turn 2 of historic Churchill Downs, counting down to Kentucky Oaks 143. I gotta say, I gotta pinch myself. First time out here, race number 9 just took off. We've been out here all day, though, dealing with that weather. My hair just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
It's all right. It's all being held down underneath that fascinator. But I do want to send it into the studio with our chief meteorologist, who I'm now calling Pretty Boy Floyd, Mark Weinberg, because he is not out here with us in the rain. Mark, I do want to ask you, any of this looking like it's going to turn severe?
Around our area right now, and as we go through this forecast here through the evening, we still have the post for the Oaks at 549 with a 70% chance of showers at 7 p.m. The final post of the evening, 49 with a 60%, and 10 p.m. as you go to your evening Derby Eve parties, we will turn partly cloudy at 47 degrees. So there is a silver lining for our party goers here this evening.
Thanks for joining us today. I'm Elizabeth Woolsey.
And I'm Gilbert Coursey. Millions of gallons of water spilling out onto Louisville streets right now.
This is Clay Street right here, and actually water is still probably about ankle deep, but probably the best view of this comes from the WDRB Skycam. As we go up here with the Skycam, you can see upwards over Shelby Park as we're looking at the flooding throughout this area. Again, that water main break occurred around 7 o'clock this morning near Shelby Park.
Travis, obviously a really dangerous situation. We can still see the water behind you, cars going through. What are officials doing right now to keep people safe?
Yeah, so one of the things that happened earlier this morning was 3 people actually had to be rescued. 2 people were in a van and they had to be pulled out by the Louisville Fire Department. They were safe, though. They were able to get out of there safely. Another person was actually in a JCPS bus. A bus driver had to be rescued right here on Clay Street, actually. The one.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us today. I'm Gilbert Coursey.
And I'm Elizabeth Woolsey. We are covering several developing stories this afternoon. A deadly accident and more rape accusations against an LMPD officer.
But we begin today with a 2-year-old dead after being shot in the face. It happened around 1 this afternoon. All right, thanks, Tom. We want to get now to a developing story. A massive fire is burning in Clarksville, Indiana. This is a live look at the storage lot of Tom Stennant Campers Inn RV. Now, I just got off the phone with staff from the business.
Thanks for joining us today. I'm Elizabeth Woolsey.
And I'm Gilbert Coursey. A day after Kentucky State Representative Dan Johnson killed himself, his wife says she will run to take his seat.
WDRB's Valerie Chin explains why she's comparing his death to a lynching.
The Bullitt County coroner just finished the autopsy for Representative Dan Johnson, and now his wife announced she wants to take her late husband's seat in office.
A high-tech lynching based on lies and half-truths. That's how widow Rebecca Johnson referred to her husband's death. She wants to run for his Kentucky State House position.
Really don't know her that much, and I don't know if she could handle the job in the first place.
News about Johnson's death is the talk of Bullitt County. Johnson took his own life Wednesday night in a rural area on Grinnell Ford Road in Mount Washington. Coroner Dave Billings says Johnson killed himself with a single gunshot wound to the head.
He was to the front of his truck over to the right, just down a slight embankment.
He was pronounced dead at 8:20 p.m. Wednesday when the coroner arrived, but his exact time of death will remain a mystery.
The science is not there to figure out exactly what time. I mean, you can make a guesstimate from his note to last time he talked to somebody on his phone and things like that, but as far as the definite time, no one will know exactly whatever the definite time was.
Earlier this week, Johnson denied allegations that he molested a 17-year-old girl 5 years ago. He was never charged.
I pray it wasn't true, and I wish the best if it did happen, that young lady to get peace.
WDRB's political reporter Lawrence Smith joining us live now from Frankfurt.
Lawrence has been following this story closely from the beginning. So, Lawrence, what are you hearing from lawmakers about both Johnson's death and his widow's decision to run for his seat?
Shot after shot after shot, at least 58 people dead, 500 hurt. The gunman opening fire on a crowd of people attending a music festival in Las Vegas. It is the worst mass shooting in modern U.S. history. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us today. I'm Gilbert Corsi.
And I'm Elizabeth Woolsey. The gunman, Stephen Paddock, killed himself in a hotel room. WDRB's Valerie Chin is on vacation in Las Vegas and was just blocks away from that mass shooting.
Here's what she saw and heard.
I'm on the Las Vegas Strip on the south side, and Mandalay Bay is right behind me. It's so surreal to see the two windows that have been shot out and all the chaos that unfolded last night and so many casualties. The area that I'm standing in, there's nobody else here. There's no pedestrians. This road has now been blocked off. When I first walked here, there wasn't any caution tape up, and as I was standing here, more police came and put up caution tape because they're not letting guests into Mandalay Bay.
A 15-year-old girl says she was scared to death after being licked and touched by a creepy clown.
WDRB's Hayden Ristevsky explains how a haunted house turned into a real-life nightmare.
A clown actor here at Field of Screams is accused of licking a 15-year-old girl, picking her up and throwing her. Allegations the owners take very seriously.
I was furious.
Phyllis Childers sent her 15-year-old granddaughter to Field of Screams for a scare Friday night. But she says a clown actor there took things too far when trying to spook the teen.
He proceeds to lick her up the side of the face and stick his tongue in her ear and tell her that she tastes like vanilla.
Childers says it didn't stop there.
And then he picks her up over his shoulder off the ground and throws her on this mattress and is holding her down by her ankles.
Meade County Sheriff's Office says the clown actor is a 28-year-old man from Radcliffe. The alleged incident happened in a section of the attraction where customers are given notice that actors there can touch them.
To me, there is a difference between touching and licking somebody.
He's only 9 years old, but a Prospect boy with a rare disease has already endured more than most of us do in a lifetime.
Today, we see Aiden Ski's amazing transformation, the journey it took to get there that completely changed his appearance, and how his family hopes others can learn from his pain.
Think you have nightmare neighbors? Those living on Hansfeld Lane in New Albany say they can't be as bad as theirs. WDRB's Travis Ragsdale takes us up close to the problem property and the fight over getting it cleaned up.
Have you ever thought you might need an old vacuum cleaner? How about dozens of old car bumpers? Maybe even a rusted out bottle of acetone? Well, this one property owner in New Albany has it all, and his neighbors are fed up with it.
And there it is, the historic moment we've all been waiting for. Just before 2:30 today, the moon crossed in front of the sun in a total solar eclipse.
The sky turned dark, the stars came out, and crickets started to chirp. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Elizabeth Woolsey.
And I'm Gilbert Corsi. This was The View in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, and that's where we find Chief Meteorologist Mark Weinberg. Mark, an incredible experience out there today.
Rows and rows of corn. Trying to find someone in that field is like trying to find a needle in a haystack, right? Well, that's why police in North Carolina used a drone. The 81-year-old was reported missing on Sunday in Asherboro. Wow. An officer with a drone pilot's license was called in, and it took him about 25 minutes to find her. That officer says his department has been using the drone for about a month mostly for aerial crime scene photography, and in one case, one person running from police.
After proper notice and an opportunity to be heard, the University of Louisville Athletic Association, Inc. has voted to terminate Richard Pitino under paragraph 6 of his employment contract for just cause.
And he should not be
A last-minute plea from Rick Pitino's attorney fell on deaf ears today. The University of Louisville Athletics Board with a resounding, unanimous decision to fire its legendary basketball coach. Thanks for joining us. I'm Gilbert Corsi.
And I'm Elizabeth Woolsey. So many aspects to cover here on this huge news day. The decision announced just over an hour ago. We start our team coverage with Lawrence Smith, who spent hours waiting outside closed doors, where Pitino's 16 years at Louisville ended with an announcement that lasted less than a minute.
You heard the vote live as we did there, with an overwhelming ayes in favor of terminating athletics director Tom Jurich, guys. First reaction, Tom Lane?
Surprised that it happened today. I really thought they might delay things and talk things over and learn some more about what was going on with the FBI investigation. Not surprised that he was fired.
We're about to try this too, probably against our better judgment, but a live on-air chip challenge goes horribly wrong for a news anchor in Colorado.
I've got hiccups now. I get hiccups when I eat something hot. I gotta go home.
Here's a good thing. There's only 10 calories.
Oh, Natalie's losing her breath. Oh, Natalie threw up. Ooh, this is going very poorly, folks.
She leaned out of frame.
She threw up.
The play-by-play. Okay, this is the news team at Channel 2 Daybreak in Denver. They tried this one chip challenge. It's a single chip made with the Carolina Reaper, which is the hottest pepper on earth. And you saw what happened to poor Natalie Tisdale when she tried it. And if you didn't, her co-anchor described it. Okay, so we have some Carolina Reaper salsa.
Let me explain what's in this salsa. So you can see the size of it. There are 4 Carolina Reapers in there, and there are 3 habaneros. And I just want you guys to see I have a very large scoop here. I brought in Rick DeLuca so he can prove that it's
Tom Lane ran. Let's be clear.
We've got
Tom
one
Lane
for everybody.
I'm taking this one.
I'm going to go ahead. You can see it. I'm going to warn you, and I'll tell you ahead of time, this is going to be hot and it's tough. I'm warning you guys. This is 4 Reapers. Is way hot.
An ulcer. I don't think this is a good idea.
Oh, no. Don't worry, you'll live.
We'll live.
Ooh, no. Okay, I'm ready.
Do it.
Last. All right, here we go. I'm going last.
A whole hand.
What?
Yeah.
It's the best time of the year. I don't know if there'll be snow, but have a cup of tea.
I have to say, this is better than I expected.
I've been in television 12 years. This is my favorite day in news ever.
I think I agree. We just got Mark is in the romp him. But before we give you a look, we're all going live on Facebook right now, by the way. So if you're not watching it here, you can watch it there. Let's play that clip one more time of the moment that led up to this Christmas romp him. Fashion retailer Get On Fleek is releasing this new line of Christmas and Hanukkah themed romp hymns.
Super comfortable in the house wearing that.
We'll buy it. It's game for anything. He has said
we will
before.
split
I
the
would wear
cost.
that while I'm eating a Carolina Reaper. I would wear that. I would wear that. I would wear that. I would wear that.
So hundreds of you voted that you wanted to see Mark in the romp him. The socks are a nice touch, aren't they?
And the shoes.
Right.
And the shoes.
I mean, I'm at work. I got to be professional still.
1,300 votes. 1,100 said romp it up.
Love it.
Here's the thing. Let this be known that I am a man of my word, whether it means embarrassing myself on TV of a romp him. If I say I'm going to do it.